Villa Carlos Paz is a city in the center north of the province of Córdoba, Argentina, in the south of the Punilla Valley, lying on the western slope of the Sierras Chicas. It has a population of about 56,000 as per the 2001 census, INDEC. The area of Punilla is a major tourist destination on the national level, and Villa Carlos Paz is in turn the most important city of Punilla, favored by its closeness, 36 kilometers, 22 miles, to the populous Córdoba city, the capital of the province. Popular tourist activities include bathing in one of the many rivers, fishing, evening shows, kite surfing, windsurfing, hiking and mountain biking. Villa Carlos Paz is located on the southern shore of the San Roque Lake. It is crossed by the San Antonio River and the Los Chorrillos stream. The city was founded by the rancher Carlos Nicandro Paz in 1913. The Hang Suspension Bridges Road was built in 1918 to link the town to the Valley tras la Sierra. This was replaced in the 1950s by the Camino de las Altas Cumbres. A tourist city par excellence, Villa Carlos Paz offers a complete proposal of outdoor activities and natural corners, entertainment parks and various cultural attractions. This tourist town, located just 30 minutes from the city of Córdoba, is one of the most important in the province and the country. Chosen for its special mountain climate, it is possible to enjoy its landscapes throughout the year. Its natural spas on the banks of the San Antonio River and Los Chorrillos stream stand out, especially in summer. The San Roque Dam is another of its main attractions. In it, water sports, boat rides and pedal boats, and even diving are carried out. It will be key to explore the extensive waterfront of this water mirror, another of the protagonists of the place. Throughout its entire length, it is a meeting point for families and friends to rest on the grass, go for a run and walk, among other activities. Another of the villa's classics to get moving is to ascend La Cruz Hill, where you can get incredible panoramic views, a proposal that joins other trekking, climbing and cycling options in the area. Villa Carlos Paz is a perfect destination to get to know, also, from its urban perspective. A tour of its main city corners will involve seeing its emblematic cuckoo clock, starting from the Old Center to the Paseo de las Farolas and continuing through the New Center and strolling along Libertad Avenue, one of the main streets, where a great commercial and gastronomic proposal stands out. Family outings are one of the keys that makes the villa a star Cordovan destination. The Picos amusement parks, Casa de Caspa and Bosque Aventura, are just a few options, among many, for the little ones to have fun. To these options is added the inevitable ride on a chairlift, the renowned tourist gallery bridge, with exhibitions and artistic proposals, and the museums, including the Tractor and Archaeology Museum, Numbia Chaiva, located in Parque Estancia La Quinta. Undoubtedly, the interest in this town extends to its musical shows, which can be enjoyed throughout the year, and to the important presence of theaters in the area, one of the main magnets for summer and winter holidays, together with its bars, discos, and casino. How to get there? From the city of Córdoba, by car it is possible to go directly along the RN20. By bus, one option is to go with the Fenobus company. Where to stay? La Villa has a wide range of accommodation, ranging from hotels, cabins, and apartments for rent to campsites and other lodgings. Gastronomy. To delight the palate, there are multiple gastronomic options. Grills, restaurants, diners and pizzerias, bars and cafes are just a few. There are proposals on the downtown area and the waterfront, mostly. What to visit in Villa Carlos Paz? The protagonists are Lake San Roque and the San Antonio and Los Chorrillos rivers, which together with the spas are ideal for enjoying nautical activities or resting. You can go trekking to Cerro La Cruz and cycling. Between amusement parks, walks through the downtown area, museums and other cultural proposals, the offer is varied and complete. Tourist point of the city, located on the Ilia waterfront and Camechingoni Street, where residents and tourists who visit us can take a selfie or photograph with this tourist poster. The corporeal letters are accompanied by a matching landscaping located at the end of the section of the waterfront very close to the monument to Brigadier Juan Bautista Bustos. An ideal point to have a record of the mountains and the lake in one of the best views offered by the city of Villa Carlos Paz. In 1945 the protective image of Maria was erected. It is the Virgin del Cerro or Virgin Blanca, which can be accessed by vehicle through Timbo Street, a few meters from the intersection of Los Sauces and Los Platanos streets, with signposts on the latter street. In 1915 the Society of Jesus built the Grotto of the Virgin of Lourdes. It is located on the west slope of the Virgin Blanca Hill in the La Quinta neighborhood. It is entered by Timbo Street. The Parque Estancia La Quinta municipal property is located 10 blocks from the city center and is the heart of the Los Carolinos neighborhood. It is on the banks of the San Antonio River and is crossed by two spring streams that come down from the El Pantanillo wetland. It preserves the heritage left by the Jesuit passage through the area and is one of the nature reserves where you can also discover part of the archaeological, historical, and cultural legacy of Villa Carlos Paz. The property has 5 hectares of exotic species planted by the Jesuit brothers and another sector with typical vegetation of the mountain forest that can be explored through interpretation trails. On December 17, 1906, Mrs. Eugenia Gastonaga donated the Estancia, La Quinta, to the Society of Jesus, which constituted a portion of the historic Estancia de San Roque. Over the years, the Jesuits carried out different works and adapted the property to the needs of the moment. The place was also used as a retreat, meditation, and later study space. Over time they left testimonies of religiousness that can still be visited today, such as the stained glass windows inside the Church of the Child God. They express different scenes, such as the image that represents the founder of the order, Saint Ignatius of Loyola, on his way to Rome. In 1918, with the arrival of the brother of the Society of Jesus Antonio Font, development was promoted as an economic and religious unit, following the model of the 17th century ranches that were established in the province. And in the middle of the last century, the novitiate also functioned and Pope Francis was there for a time during his religious formation. Among the constructions you can visit 3 buildings, one of them transformed into an exhibition hall, an archaeological site occupied by the communities of the original peoples who produced food and inhabited the place between the years 500 and 1500 of our era. There is also the No. Chaiva Museum that brings together 600 archaeological pieces collected since 1949 on the coast of Lake San Roque. It was formed from a collection that the Fan Esmeralda Leda began in 1949 with pieces from the Camachingonese, and in 1960 the National University of Córdoba, UNC, began to work. It bears that name in honor of the chief Chaiva who, according to texts from the conquerors, inhabited the Punilla area. In recent years, the circuit of the rock quarries that were exploited in the old ranch has been recovered and is open to travel. The Poetry Forest was recently inaugurated on the initiative of the poets Leopoldo Tuco Castilla, Aldo Parfeniak, and Pedro Solans in response to the fires that devastated part of the mountainous mountains in the province of Córdoba. On the walk you go through an area where native trees were planted and you can read poems alluding to nature by poets who had or have a link with Villa Carlos Paz. Poetry, musical recitals, and related activities are held there. The artistic programming that the park has during the summer seasons is interesting. But Estancia La Quinta Park cannot be disassociated from the Parroquia de la Quinta del Niño Dios, which is adjacent and was part of the Jesuit complex. The church blessed in January 1933, Holy Year of Redemption, by Monsignor Lafitte, Archbishop of Córdoba, was built with stones from the park's quarries. The stained glass windows with scenes representing the birth of Christ, the adoration of the shepherds and the wise men and other religious motifs are striking inside. The 5 smaller stained glass windows or rose windows express liturgical aspects, such as the Eucharist, the Alpha and the Omega, Mary and possibly Joseph. On Route 38 that joins Tanti and Carlos Paz, the fortress that Jorge Fert ordered to be built in the mid-1930s, motivated by his deep admiration for this type of European architecture, rises in front of Lake San Roque. The lime and pebble construction was completed in 2 stages, and mounted its facade similar to European fortresses, while the main tower is a copy of the one that stands in the Pitti Palace, in Florence, Italy. Fort Castle currently has the quality of private and family use, but until a few years ago it functioned as a museum and could be toured inside to learn more about the style it displays. The Quebrada del Conduito National Park, located west of the province of Córdoba and 50 kilometers from Villa Carlos Paz, was created on November 28, 1996. Its surface reaches 37,344 hectares and belongs to the Chaco Seco ecoregion, mountain district. Due to its central location and its height, this national park has a unique biodiversity in the country, with various characteristics similar to Andean Patagonian environments. The San Roque Dam was inaugurated on September 8, 1891. At that time it was the largest in the world, while the next in order was located in California, USA. At that time, the San Roque Dam in Córdoba, Argentina, and the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France, were the most important works carried out up to then by modern engineering and filled the headlines of the most important newspapers in the world. But the growing need for a larger reservoir and the questions that were raised about the possible bad state of the wall determined that the government authorities decided to build a new wall, higher than the previous one, which was inaugurated in 1944. This new reservoir irrigates some 30,000 hectares of extremely fertile land, which makes up the so-called green belt that surrounds the city of Córdoba. Another utility that the San Roque Dam provides to the community is hydroelectric production. A little-known fact about the San Roque Dam is that it was the first to produce electricity in our country using hydraulic energy. But the most important thing was the triumph of the old San Roque Dam, which resisted the waters for 53 years, including the flood of 1897, which exceeded the wall without damaging it. Today, when the waters of the lake go down, you can see the 2 engineering works, symbols of the determination of a town that makes good use of its resources. The El Fantasio Spa is one of the oldest in Villa Carlos Paz. It is located on the waters of the San Antonio River and has a ford that generates a low waterfall when the river is high. It had its heyday when the youth chose it in the 70s. It is currently family-owned and has sanitary facilities, grills, and lifeguard and toilet service. The Playas de Oro Spa is one of the spas chosen by families. Ideal for children due to its wide beaches and shallow depth. It has lifeguards in seasons. Grills, toilets, confectionery, restaurant and grocery. Controlled parking. It is a very attractive place where there are activities to spend the day. It is crossed by the Hector Terzi Bridge, one of the 7 bridges of Villa Carlos Paz. It is the emblem of a residential neighborhood that bears his name. The Costanera Avenue, in its section on the San Roque Lake, became an emblematic promenade. It is a vehicular pedestrian route on the banks of the reservoir with beautiful views of the lake and the mountains, a beautiful natural park for recreation with healthy posts for physical exercises, children's games, skate park, and has a long gastronomic circuit. On the waterfront is the Arena Stadium, the rugby club, the hockey field, and in its last section water sports are practiced, and the monument to the Cordovan hero born in the Punilla Valley, Brigadier General Juan B. Bustos, is located. The coastal circuit begins at the Casafaust Bridge, and to the right you can see the 16 de Julio Municipal Palace, the Carlos Paz Casino, the Uruguay Gallery Bridge, and to the left there are several small marinas where boats, pedalos are rented, and in the most important, the catamarans set sail towards the San Roque dock. The cuckoo clock is one of the tourist emblems of the city. It was built by a group of German engineers who lived in the city. It was inaugurated on May 25, 1958, and at that time it was one of the largest clocks in the world. It is located at the intersection of Boulevard Sarmiento and Uruguay Avenue, 200 meters from the Uruguay Bridge Gallery on Route 20. Urban and tourist stories and legends were woven about it, and it is a must for visitors. It integrates the tourist heritage of the so-called old center of the city, next to the Nuestro Sagrado Corazón de Jesus church, built in 1980 next to it at the initiative of the Dihonian priest Carlos Maela. The postmodern style temple, where straight lines and angles stand out, both outside and inside, including its paintings and sculptures, add architectural and religious artistic values to the sector. The church was designed and built by the prestigious Cordovan architect Miguel Angel Roque in 1978. It was thought of as an iconic fact rather than a religious one. From the outside it does not look like a Catholic temple, which generates expectations. Its strange forms built in concrete and glass exterior do not match the simple interior. It is worth visiting. But going back to the cuckoo clock in the 1960s, it was the classic postcard for couples who spent their honeymoon in Villa Carlos Paz. Its structure has a gear system that activates its bell, and opens the house for the cuckoo to come out every exact hour and every half hour. At any time of the year you can see groups of tourists waiting for the cuckoo bird to leave with their cameras or cell phones to capture the moment. The watch case and the cuckoo bird were made by hand and are a true work of art, measuring 7.5 meters high. Its entire mechanism works by an electric motor that automatically drives all its components. The environment was renovated several times, and for the 2018-19 season a water fountain and a green wall in the background were added. Also known as the Big Casino, or the Old Casino, it is the first casino in the villa. Here we can find all the games, from poker, roulette, slots, bingo hall, etc., and a resto bar. It is located on the waterfront of the city, on Avenue Arturo Illia. Slots Casino, for lovers of slot machines. Located in the heart of the city, on Avenue San Martin 35, just half a block from downtown. Cerro de la Cruz is the highest peak in Villa Carlos Paz. It has a height of 1,000 meters and its easy access made it attractive, and today it is a place that cannot be missed. After crossing 7 hills and walking 2,200 meters, you arrive at the cross built by the engineer Miguel Arambide with material transported on the back of a donkey. The monument is 15 meters high and was inaugurated in 1934 while the XXXII International Eucharistic Congress was taking place in Buenos Aires. The imposing white cross has a Latin inscription, Christus vivit regnat et imperat, which means, Christ lives, reigns and rules. For this reason, the wife of the founder Carlos Nicandro Paz, Dona Margarita Avanzato, donated the hill to the Catholic Church, through the Archbishopric of Córdoba. Every year it attracts a large number of faithful, especially at Easter. During the walk along the trail you can come across trekking enthusiasts, with exponents of the mountain fauna, and you can see Villa Carlos Paz, its bridges and Lake San Roque, as well as the Punilla Valley, residential neighborhoods, and towns such as Bielay Mas, and a unique view of the Los Gigantes Massif. The guided ascent that instructs on the native flora and fauna, the history of our city and Lake San Roque is recommended. The Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture also has a nocturnal ascent program that constitutes an incredible experience. This program is enabled in the months of January and February, and you can consult days and times. The Centennial Bridge connects the main margins of the city's waterfront, the two downtown areas. It was designed parallel to the Carina Bridge. It has a 73-meter span forward and 13-meter high masts, and connects Avenida Sabatini with Paseo Bernardo d'Elia on the north bank of the San Antonio River. The 100-meter-long tourist gallery is built under the Uruguay Bridge. It has an aerial walkway over the waters of the San Antonio River with a panoramic view of the mouth of the San Roque Lake. Through the pedestrian walkway of the bridge, the river on one side and the lake on the other offer a long sample of natural postcards. The program of activities in the picturesque gallery ranges from exhibitions of plastic arts, events of various kinds, tourist information, and at night it offers a light and sound show. The history of the Uruguay Bridge begins in 1945. It has 2 supports on land and 3 legs in the water, with 1 lane per hand. Due to the great tourist development of the town, it was decided in 2008 to expand the lanes of vehicular traffic from 2 to 4. This highway bridge was completely restored and valued by the government of the province of Córdoba at the beginning of 2010, becoming one of the most important tourist attractions offered by the city of Villa Carlos Paz. The new construction for the passage of vehicles is the roof of the new 150m long cultural center. This internal space will have mobile dividing panels, glass closure, new floor and ceiling, air conditioning and heating, toilets and reception spaces. The entire lighting system was installed on the outside of this large volume. On the north face of the bridge, which faces Lake San Roque, a semi-covered metal walkway for pedestrian crossing was built that adds a safety component by separating bicycle and pedestrian traffic from vehicular traffic. The architect Osvaldo Meester, responsible for the lighting design together with Osram, the objective of the project was to provide the bridge with a refunctionalization, adding value to transform it into a tourist landmark in the city. Light would be the great protagonist. City Center, where there are a large number of shops, bars, restaurants, pizzerias, ice cream parlors, theaters, and cinema. You can also visit the fairs of artisans and entrepreneurs. The Centennial Fountain is located between the bus terminal and the office of the Secretary of Tourism of Villa Carlos Paz. This mosaic mural recounts the origins of our city. It should be remembered that this fountain was the product of a joint effort between the College of Architects, the municipality, and local artists. The same, which resulted from an initiative of the architect Cristina Franquelli, is the work of the sculptor Miguel Hachen. Municipal Palace, July 16th. The Cairnars, one of the pioneering families in the development of the city, began to build in 1937 one of the most important hotels in the Punilla Valley. Its designer was the architect Angel T. Lo Celso. It was inaugurated in 1937 and its doors were open until 1970. Most of the social festivities and gala balls of the time took place in this place. In 1980 the mayor Jose A. Galindez acquired the building to install the community headquarters in it. Since 1981 the Municipal Palace July 16th has been there. The municipal gardens become a unique natural setting for different artistic, sporting, and cultural events, or the ideal space to enjoy some mates with friends. Poster, Villa Carlos Paz makes me fall in love. It is located in the municipal gardens, at Lineas 50, in front of the city's Secretary of Tourism. The design was made by the neighbor and architect Luis Mario Baggio. It was based on the city's logo, created in 1988 by graphic designer Fabian Carreras. The Nuestra Señora del Carmen Church is located in the heart of the city, on Avenida General Paz, between Pasay San Ignacio and Calle Caseros. Originally it was a chapel built in 1914 by the will of the founder Carlos N. Paz and his wife, so that their daughters could attend Mass. Later it was demolished to build the new church. On January 3, 1915, the governor of the province of Córdoba, Dr. Ramón J. Cacano, inaugurated the Chapel of El Carmen. Bishop Fray Zenon Bustos celebrated the Mass and blessed the work. Due to the lack of space, it was decided to expand the work, and it was carried out under the action of Father Enrique Quirl, and began in 1948 with the project of the architect Miguel Arambide. The opening of the new temple took place on January 6, 1956. Only the memory of the sculptor Font remains of the old chapel, who made the altar and the pulpit with hand-carved wood, the images of San Jose, San Roque, and Nuestra Señora del Carmen. The city's first bus terminal station operated behind the current parish, and when it was moved to its current location in front of the municipal building, the Founders Square was erected in that space. The remains of Carlos Nicandro Paz and Margarita A. de Paz rest at the entrance to the temple. It was declared a cultural heritage in the year 2000. In 1906 the Jesuits took possession of the Estancia La Quinta, as a result of the donation made by Miss Eugenia Galarraga, an establishment that was part of the historic Estancia de San Roque. Over the years, the priest Don Juan Cherta gives this establishment the name of Quinta del Niño Dios, with which it is still known today. Its construction dates from the year 1915, and it was blessed in the month of January 1933, Holy Year of the Redemption, by Monsignor Lafitte, Archbishop of Córdoba. Its administration was in charge of Brother Antonio Font, who gave a decided impulse to the ranch, promoting agricultural and livestock tasks in order to supply the nutritional needs of the members of the Order of the Jesuit Fathers in the city of Córdoba, as well as like that of the students who came in large numbers to spend the summer in that still small mountain town. This made possible the establishment of numerous families that worked in the tasks that Brother Font had promoted, many of which settled in the area and became the first settlers of Villa Carlos Paz. The Jesuits left in our city testimonies of religiosity that can still be visited today, such as the stained glass windows inside the Church of the Child God. Mario Langer, he was born in Strobel and in San Luis founded his construction company, which he left to be one of the most respected painters. Self-taught in almost everything, he learned the ups and downs of construction from his mason father, and with a restless and rebellious spirit he ran after his unbridled nature that showed him his true vocation at 44. But what is time for a man who lives from day to day, who walks looking at his feet, and who decided to form his company and 20 years later closed it with 70 employees to dedicate himself to canvases and murals. An impulse designer, today he paints houses, stairs, windows for the whole world, which he recognizes as his work and which allows him to earn up to 3 million pesos a month. He has more than 1,400 murals in schools and buildings and countless works. The vertiginous and elusive life of a man who lives in a hotel, he designs packaging for many companies, does not listen to criticism, has a daughter who is about to graduate in Bologna and who, despite still being tied to memories of dragonflies and cicadas in the little hills of Entre Rios, handles technology like a millennial and turns his art into a desired commodity. An exceptional man from Entre Rios who is still owed his well-deserved consideration. If you liked the video, you would help me a lot by giving it a like and subscribing to the channel to receive more videos like this. Subscribing is free and helps a lot in carrying out this type of audio-visual projects that help discover amazing places and enjoy wonderful places for everyone's entertainment. Thank you very much for sharing and watching until the end.